Hello everyone and welcome back. One of the most famous battles in Star Trek takes place in the Deep Space Nine episode Sacrifice of Angels. During Operation Return, a fleet of about 600 Starfleet vessels attempts to break through a Dominion fleet of about twice that size in order to reach Deep Space Nine. Generally, this is considered an awesome battle. However, some people tend to take it with a grain of salt. Namely, that the tactics mentioned in dialogue don't quite match the visual effects we see of the battle. So, we're going to take a closer look at this battle and see whether or not this is true. We'll start off with the initial tactics. Captain Sisko's plan is to send several waves of Federation fighters, but have them only attack the Cardassian ships. Garrick further explains that the Jem'Hadar are disciplined enough that they will not break formation, but the Cardassians might get angry enough to break out of their formation and open up a hole. So we will then see that this is exactly how the battle starts. So, we see multiple waves of fighters being sent at the Dominion fleet, but only targeting the Cardassians. Next, back on Deep Space Nine, Gul Dukat observes Sisko's strategy and realizes what he's trying to do. So, he sets his trap. He's going to give Sisko an opening, but then close it on him. So, after letting the fighters attack for a while, he gives the following order.
Have a half-dozen squadrons break formation and go after those fighters.
Yes, sir.
So here we see some Cardassian ships turning and going after the Federation fighters. We only see a relative handful of ships moving here. We don't know how big a Cardassian squadron is. But suffice it to say, as Dukat mentioned, some of his ships are chasing after the fighters, giving Sisko the hole that he wanted, or so he thinks. Of course, Captain Sisko and his crew are no fools either, and they realize that this ploy by Dukat is just setting a trap. But Sisko realizes it's an opportunity, we may get another one, and so he orders the charge. I'm going to pause just there for a minute. One specific accusation about the visual effects here is that Sisko claims there's a hole for them to take advantage of, but when you look at the fleet, there's just Dominion ships everywhere, and there's not really a hole. Well, I took a closer look at this particular shot, and while true it's not very big, right about here, there seems to be an area with little to no Dominion ships. This is very small compared to their fleet, that is true, but it may be the best thing that they're going to get, or so Sisko seems to think. Now let's back up for just a minute. Before ordering the charge, Sisko realizes that Dukat has some Galar-class destroyers prepared to close the gap on them. So he assigns Galaxy Wings 9-1 and 9-3 to target those destroyers, while all other ships head for the opening. Now let's see how the visual effects bear this out. So we see at least 2 Galaxy-class ships targeting the Galar-class destroyers, moving them out of the way, allowing the Defiant and some other ships, looks like a couple of Mirandas, possibly a few others, getting through the hole. Now, I don't think from these visual effects that a large portion of the Federation fleet was able to get through this opening. I believe it was just the Defiant and a few other ships, and most of the rest of the fleet was occupied with engaging the Dominion. Plus, we don't know what exactly a Galaxy Wing consists of. It may have been a Galaxy-class ship and several other starships working together, so they would have been occupied in any case. Now from here, the battle does tend to become very chaotic. Sisko tries to give further orders to the fleet, but Nog has to report that communications are down because the Dominion is generating some kind of jamming. Also, the Miranda-class ships that are accompanying the Defiant get taken out, which we can't really expect anything else from Miranda-class, so they realize that they're on their own. Fortunately, the cavalry is on the way. So very heroically, the Klingons come charging out of the sun to save the day. Now, we can see that the Defiant being on her own does not mean every other Federation starship has been destroyed, because you can see them maneuvering in the background in this shot and other shots we'll look at later. But just the small force that was with the Defiant, the break through the opening, had been whittled down to only the Defiant being left. So now the Defiant, accompanied by a few Klingon ships, is going to attempt to break through the hole that the Klingons have opened up with their sudden appearance. So once again here we see the dangerous position of flying escort for the Defiant, as they are all destroyed and Defiant herself makes it through. However, there are still many Klingon and Federation ships still engaged in the Dominion fleet. As we know from here, the Defiant continues on to Deep Space Nine. In conclusion, I think the tactics mentioned by the characters and the visual effects line up just fine. However, what do you think? I welcome any comments. I thank you for joining me once again, and I hope you have a blessed day.